What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today I am once again delighted and extremely excited because I've got another exclusive reveal for you. We're going to be looking at a new Megatron card. Megatron Arrogant Ruler. Yes, we did have two Megatron cards in Wave 1, but come on, it's Megatron. Clearly, we were going to be getting a new Megatron in this set. I have no inside information, but I'm willing to bet we're getting a new Optimus Prime and a new Bumblebee as well. But today, we're focused on Megatrons. If we look at the stats, 10 cost seems quite big, in that the average cost in Wave 1 was 8, but if we look at the tanks, and take away Slammer, because Slammer doesn't really count, then 10 is actually the average cost for a tank, so that's not too bad. 14 health is very, very large. That's a lot of health. The attack is either average in bot mode or just below in ult mode. And the defense is average in bot mode and above average in ult mode. Now this is actually really nice because a health of 14 with a defense of 3 does give you quite a lot of staying power, especially if you put some investment in some blue icons. You can keep Megatron on the field for a little while here. Then again, it is literally a tank, so maybe we should expect that. In bot mode, it's got a lovely little skill. When you attack, you may scrap an upgrade from your hand. If you do, draw 2 cards. Now this is really nice draw, but you need to be playing a bunch of upgrades, and you need to be willing to scrap an upgrade from your hand if you want to get the 2 cards. You don't have to scrap the upgrade from your hand, but then you don't get to draw the 2 cards. It's nice draw if you need it. It's not reliable every single turn, always going to work draw, but it is a nice draw engine on a character card. Incidentally, if you were to pair this with Megatron Living Weapon and scrap a weapon, then you could get it back by flipping Megatron Living Weapon into ult mode. So there is a fun little combo with another Megatron going on here. Now the thing is, we have a bunch of draw engines with characters around at the moment, and some of them are quite similar to this. Autobot Hound, for instance, when you flip it into ult mode, allows you to scrap a card from your hand that has at least 1 white icon, and if you do, draw 2 cards. Very, very similar, except you got to scrap a white icon card rather than an upgrade, and essentially if you play more upgrades, Megatron's better, and if you play more white icon cards, Autobot Hound is better. The thing you do need to remember here is that upgrades can be attached to your character, so any upgrade you're discarding from your hand, you're basically saying, I am not going to be attaching this to my character unless I can recover it from the scrap pile, or just wait until my scrap pile becomes my deck again and draw into it. We do have Chromia. Now in bot mode, if you attack and draw at least 2 white icons, you draw 2 cards. That is much less likely to come around. Similarly, we've got Deadlock in ult mode. When you flip to this mode, choose an enemy. If it's KO'd this turn, draw 2 cards. That one is even more awkward to get rolling. And we've got Dinobot Snarl in ult mode. When you flip to this mode, if you've got no cards in hand, draw 2 cards. There are plenty of other characters that do have little draw engines on them, but these are the ones that are most similar to Megatron. And frankly, I like this. If you're willing to play a deck which is slightly heavy on upgrades, you've got a really nice little draw engine here. Now in terms of ult mode, when you flip to this mode, play an upgrade, which just gives you more reason to play an upgrade heavy deck. You can play an upgrade during your turn the same as you always could, but then when you flip Megatron, you get to play another upgrade. And the language here is very important. It says upgrade. It does not specify armor, weapon, or utility, therefore it is any upgrade. And it says you may play it, not you may play it to this character, so it's actually quite a wide-ranging ability. It allows you to attach any upgrade you like to any character that you have in play. And upgrades are good. We're going to talk about some specific upgrades you might want to consider in a moment, but upgrades give you advantages, same as action cards do. So frankly, playing more upgrades during the game may well give you more of an advantage as you go through the game. And we've also got some other cards that can really take advantage of the fact that you're playing a whole bunch of upgrades here. One that I really like is Equipment Enthusiast. This is an action card that allows you to draw one card for each upgrade that you have attached to all of your characters. Well, with Megatron Arrogant Ruler here, you're going to be playing more upgrades, which means Equipment Enthusiast is going to be allowing you to draw more cards. That's quite nice. We've also got Battle Ready here. It's an action that gives each of your characters +1 attack until end of turn for each upgrade on it. So similarly, the more upgrades you've got in play, the more effective Battle Ready is going to be. And it's combos like this that can turn this into a really good character. Playing the extra upgrades, yes, that's awesome. But then if you can be drawing more cards and having extra attack because you played the extra upgrades, that's pretty sweet. And don't forget there's a great combo here with your bot mode skill, in that the bot mode skill lets you draw more cards, which means you're potentially going to draw into the upgrades that you want, so that you can attach them when you flip into alt mode. Now, there are some other cards that we have at the moment that allow you to play extra upgrades, but there aren't too many. In terms of general cards that can be used for anyone here, we've got New Designs, which is an action card that allows you to play an upgrade, and we've got Multi-Tool, which is an upgrade in and of itself, which essentially is only for specialists. I mean, you can put it onto anyone to get +1 attack, but when you play it onto a specialist, you may then play another upgrade. Depends if you really want the +1 attack on the specialist, I suppose. Now, in terms of upgrades, there are so many to choose from, and it really does depend on your particular playstyle. Are you going for extra attack, extra defense, extra bold? Are you going for a bit of disruption? There's so many different options. But to give you just a flavour of some of the things you can go for, how about Force Field? A great little upgrade that guarantees you can only take 4 damage from an attack. Megatron allows you to play an extra force field while also giving you more chance to draw into it, which is very nice. We've got Grenade Launcher that gives you +4 attack, but only for a single attack, and then it kind of falls away. I assume it's like really heavy or something. And then there are some specific upgrades we've got for tanks and range characters we're going to look at in a moment, but I've got to mention Fusion Cannon of Megatron here. It is an upgrade which gives anybody +1 attack, but while it's on Megatron, you've got Pierce Free. Obviously, there's a super easy combo to be made here with Megatron Decepticon Leader, who I did recently say was the best tank. I'll pop a link to that video in the description. But even if you're not playing that, Pierce Free is still good. This lets you attach extra upgrades, gives you a draw engine, it's got pretty good defense, and now you're giving it Pierce as well. I can totally get on board with this. Now, you are designated as a leader here, but it doesn't really matter, and you are a leader in both modes. The problem is we've only got one card in Wave 1, which helps leaders, and it's Matrix of Leadership, which can only be put onto Autobots. And even if your Transformers knowledge generally is a little bit lacking, I'm willing to bet you know Megatron's not an Autobot. I'm hoping in Wave 2 we're going to be getting something to help out Decepticon leaders. You know that the card designers are thinking about this. You know that they're aware we don't have any cards for Decepticon leaders. I don't know if we're getting something in Wave 2, but hopefully we will, and if we do, that's going to help out Megatron. But you are a tank in alt mode here, which does give you access to a couple of tank cards that you can play around with. We've got Crushing Treads here. Now, Crushing Treads is really nice. It can only be put on tanks, but you get Pierce equal to your defense. That means that whatever your defense is, you do that much damage regardless of your opponent's defense. But do remember, your Pierce can never outstrip your attack. So if we have a look at ourselves in alt mode here, you've got an attack of 3 and a defense of 3, so you are guaranteeing here that you have got a Pierce of 3. If you can raise your defense, you also raise your Pierce, but you've got to raise your attack as well. You cannot have Pierce 6 if you've only got an attack of 4. You also have access here to Hunker Down. Hunker Down is a nice little action card that flips each of your characters from bot mode to tank mode. Then for each of your tanks that isn't upgraded with an armor, put an armor on it from the scrap pile. Now this is really nice, Because when you're in bot mode, you can discard an armor using your skill to draw 2 cards. You can then play Hunkered Down to switch into tank mode while attaching an armor from your scrap pile, because that's what Hunker Down does. And that's not even using Megatron's alt mode skill here. So you get an armor with Hunker Down, and you still get to attach another upgrade with your skill in addition to the armor from Hunker Down and your general upgrade that you would be attaching for your turn. You can really make some hay with these upgrades here. Now, you are also a ranged character, which means you have access to Armed Hovercraft. I adore this card. It is a weapon upgrade that gives you 1 more attack. When you put it on a ranged character, you do 1 damage to each enemy, which is pretty sweet. And you have access to Rapid Ascent, which gives you +1 defense. And if you put it on a ranged character, your opponent chooses a card from their hand and discards it. Although I do need to mention Darkmount Cruel Overlord here, who when he is in bot mode does get +2 defense against a ranged character. And you are ranged regardless of which mode you're in, so Darkmount will get that bonus if he's facing against Megatron Arrogant Leader. Now, we do have a couple of other Megatron here, and I'm not going to go into them in huge detail, but like I say, I did rank the tanks out the other day, so go check that video out if you want to hear more about them. We've got the common Megatron, Decepticon Leader, my favourite of them, which is another 10 cost, which has 4 attack, 12 health, 2 defense in bot mode, and then it has 2 attack, 12 health, 3 defense in alt mode. So essentially you've got 2 extra health, and in alt mode you get an extra attack. So the stats are just plain better, and they're both 10 cost cards. That one does have Pierce 3 in bot mode, which I adore, and allows you when you flip into alt mode to scrap a card from your hand and then scrap an enemy upgrade. It's a very good card. And these Megatrons are both 10 costs, so you could play them together, or you could end up choosing between them. And essentially, it's whether you want slightly worse stats but Pierce, or slightly better stats and really take advantage of upgrades. We've then got the rare Megatron, Megatron Living Weapon, which is a 13 cost, which is huge, but it's got 14 health, same as Arrogant Ruler. It's got a defense of 2 regardless of mode, which means it's actually 1 less than Arrogant Ruler in alt mode, but it has an attack of 5 in alt mode, 7 in bot mode, and it can have a weapon in its armor or utility slots, while also letting you return a weapon from your scrap pile to your hand when you flip to alt mode. So Megatron Living Weapon, if you really want to go full attacking and relying on weapons, that's the one you go for. I like that all 3 of these Megatrons here really do fill a particular niche. But let me be really clear about this. I like Megatron Arrogant Ruler. It is great if you're willing to play an upgrade heavy deck. You got a built-in draw engine, you get to play extra upgrades, and then you've got cards like Equipment Enthusiast, Battle Ready, Hunker Down, which will just really help you on this particular strategy. The 10 cost is expensive, but it's not expensive for a tank, and the stats here really are quite good. Don't be sleeping on 14 health and 3 defense in alt mode. That is going to keep you around a little while. Though I do get the feeling that if you really want to make the most of Megatron Arrogant Ruler, you are probably going to need to be playing an upgrade heavy deck. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, my second exclusive reveal in as many days. Huge thank you to the lovely folks over at Wizards of the Coast for allowing me to do this reveal. I am humbled and delighted that they've allowed me to do so. The bad news is I don't have any more characters to reveal. The good news is I might be able to find a battle card or 2 to reveal tomorrow. So if I were you, and you like the Transformers trading card game, and if you've got this far in the video, I'm willing to bet you probably do, you're going to want to be checking back here tomorrow as well. But for now, I would very much like to know what you think about this card, who you would pair it with, what combos you can see, which upgrades you're excited about playing with it. Go nuts, ladies and gentlemen, but please do remember the most important rule as always: be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk about Transformers and other games. But by far the most important thing as always is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching a very exciting Wossy plays.